The man who left his shadow. Long ago, in the sun-warmed land of Umedike, nestled between rolling hills and whispering palms, lived a quiet man named Obinna. The villagers called him Ozi, which means messenger, not because he held any official title, but because every morning, before the cocks started crow, he would head to the busy Ik Market road where buses came and went with travelers and traders. With a woven satchel over his shoulder and an eager fire in his heart, Obinna would hand out small paper messages, scriptures and words of life to anyone willing to take them. Some rejected him with silence. Others mocked. But Obinna never stopped. Even when the rain lashed down like angry whips or the sun scorched the red earth beneath his feet, he stood, smiling, speaking, sharing. He did this for many years. Not once did the village elders mention his name in meetings. Not once did the chief invite him to a gathering. Even in the church, nobody noticed his absence or his faithfulness. No one ever returned to say, "Thank you." Over time, Obinna began to feel the weight of invisibility. One Sunday, the church choir gave a spectacular performance. Their voices climbed the wooden beams of the village chapel and touched the skies. When they finished, the entire congregation stood and clapped. The elders nodded. The pastor smiled. There was joy all around. Obinna, who had always sat quietly at the back, felt a strange tug in his chest. Maybe I've been wasting my life, he thought. They sing once and receive honor. I've stood by the road for years, and no one knows my name. That week, Obinna stopped going to the roadside. He joined the choir. He was welcomed with open arms. People admired his deep baritone voice. In no time, he was given solos. The applause came fast. One particular Sunday, he sang a song from Psalm 91 that had the whole church rising to their feet. The women all related, and the men clapped with broad smiles. "So this is what it feels like to be appreciated," he whispered to himself. But something happened that day. As the congregation clapped, an old stranger stood up at the back of the church. His clothes were plain, his eyes deep with wisdom. With a calm voice, he said, "May I sing that song too?" There was silence. The pastor, slightly annoyed, hesitated. But the congregation, curious, murmured in agreement. The old man stepped forward and began to sing. There were no harmonies, no instruments, just a dry, trembling voice. But as he sang, the air grew still. One by one, people began to kneel. Tears rolled down cheeks. Some covered their faces, sobbing. Others stretched their hands heavenward in surrender. By the time he finished, there was no sermon, only weeping. That day, more people gave their lives to God than any revival meeting before. Even the proudest hearts were broken. Obinna stood frozen. His choir robe felt like chains. He had entertained, but the old man had ministered. Without a word, he slipped out of the church and walked down the familiar path to Ik Market Road, still wearing his choir robe. When he arrived, something pulled at his chest. Another man stood in his old spot, handing out tracts, smiling at strangers. Obinna approached slowly. The man, without looking up, handed him a paper. Obinna opened it and read, "If I die, let it be at my post. A true messenger never abandons his shadow." Shocked, he looked at the man. "My brother, who gave you this message to share?" The man replied, "There used to be someone who stood here every day, rain or sunshine. But he disappeared many moons ago. I thought he had died. But before he left, He gave me a paper like this one, and it changed me. So I returned here, to continue where the dead man stopped. He looked up finally, his eyes full of fire. Yes, I do it in memory of the dead man. Obinna fell to his knees. He wept like a child. Not because he had died, but because he had lived wrongly. He had traded heaven's smile for man's applause. He had left his post, the place of impact, for the place of noise. And now, a stranger was wearing his shadow. Lessons from Umidike. Do not leave your shadow behind. Where God planted you is where your greatest fruit will grow. The applause of men is like the wind, it fades. But the reward of God is eternal. Ministry is not performance. The church is not a stage. It is a holy ground. Your true reward is not in being seen, but in being faithful. There is no small work in God's kingdom, only faithful or unfaithful servants. Return to your post before someone else calls you the dead man. Beloved, have you walked away from your divine calling because no one saw you? Have you abandoned your post because men did not clap? The God of mercy is calling you back. Go back to your post. Return to your shadow. Heaven is still counting.